Recording from an undisclosed location in Sacramento, it's Jeff and Dave Talk Movies.
Welcome back, everybody, to Jeff and Dave Talk Movies. This is episode 11.
Yes.
And as always, I am Jeff.
And I am Dave, and we apologize for the absence that we've had. Life has gotten in the way just a little bit.
Yeah.
Nothing bad has happened, but we've been
a little busy. Doing other things, but in the words of the great Matthew McConaughey, all right.
And we're back. And so, to me, that is the most important thing, that we're back.
That's right. And we're back because of Infinity War.
And so, okay.
Finally.
Oh, super finally. And before we get any further, spoiler warning.
Yes,
to everybody listening.
This will not be a spoiler-free show.
Yeah, no. We're not even going to attempt.
So if you haven't seen it yet and you don't want to be spoiled, turn it off. Come back after you see the movie.
Come back after you see the movie. But come back. That's the most important thing. Come back. But, we're not even going to attempt to be spoiler-free.
No.
Not even.
This is going to be all Infinity War, everything.
Oh, my God.
And, let me just say this right off the bat, all right? It was a 2-hour and 20-minute movie.
Something like that. Approaching 2.5.
And by the time I walked out of the movie, I'm like, there's no way that was 2 hours and 20 minutes.
I know, it was fast.
It was fast.
And, I was impressed because, it's every Marvel hero.
Right.
Every Marvel hero.
Well, not everyone.
Okay, there's a couple missing.
Right.
And we'll get into that in a minute. But for the most part, it was every Marvel hero.
They did a great job.
They did an amazing job.
Including everybody. It wasn't just, well, we got to get this person in, let's just give them a cameo. No,
right.
It was like they had scenes.
Yeah, everybody had kind of their own little storyline going on. It didn't get convoluted.
Right.
Thanos, holy crap, we finally got a big baddie.
Just in the beginning of the movie, and this is going to lead into a bunch of other things I wanted to talk about, but just in the beginning of the movie where he comes aboard Thor's ship.
Yeah.
And because, this takes place right after Ragnarok.
Immediately after.
Right. So, the Hulk got his ass handed to him.
Yeah, and it tweaked his melon really bad.
It did, because he wouldn't come out for the rest of the movie. He's like,
he wouldn't.
No!
And so, that was one thing that surprised me, because you see the trailer of everybody at Wakanda, and they're running into battle, and the Hulk is with them.
Right.
That is a lie.
Maybe.
Okay, it could be an alternate universe.
It
could be an alternate reality. Right. But yeah, for all intents and purposes in this movie, he's having none of it.
Right. Yeah. He got his ass handed to him by Thanos in the beginning of the movie, and he just shut down from there. Would not come out.
Well, and you know what? This is one thing, because the Hulk, they finally got the Hulk right for me in Avengers, in the very first Avengers, and then they've nailed him every other time that we've seen him on screen. I love the fact that we finally got to see the relationship between Bruce Banner and the Hulk, where Bruce is kind of like, come on, man, you got to help me out.
Right.
I need you here. And to have the Hulk kind of come out for a second and be like, no, and not want to get involved. I thought that was freaking brilliant. I love that.
Cool. And they had to have him. They had, they needed him. So what in the very end of the movie, they threw him in the Hulkbuster, and they're like, all right. Go out there.
Right, so they had to have something. But you know what? It's kind of good because Mark Ruffalo doesn't really get his own in the movie. Like in Thor Ragnarok, he kind of, to a degree, got shortchanged because it was all the Hulk. Not that I'm complaining, because I thought the Hulk was awesome in Thor Ragnarok. But a lot of times he doesn't get to really fight in the battles because it's the Hulk. So I like the fact that Bruce got to actually battle. He was in the Hulkbuster, and it was like, you know what, this is cool, because Bruce finally gets to experience battle and be a hero.
Yeah. And right off the bat, you got that.
Right off the bat.
This wasn't a roller coaster type movie. There was no dips in this movie. It was just a constant foot on the gas, just zooming down the highway at 100 miles
Oh,
an
yeah.
hour.
Well, and from the get-go, from moment one, it gets dark.
Mm-hmm.
The tone is set for this movie where it's not like, I wonder how bad it's going to be. Oh, it's going to be bad. And it shows
we
you right
lost
from the
two
beginning.
characters in the very beginning.
Yeah, right off the bat.
Yeah.
2 great characters. Shall
Yeah.
we name them?
Well, why not?
Yeah, well, Loki and Heimdall
Yeah.
both get theirs. And from what I understand, the writers, because a lot of people are like, no, they're not really dead. From what I understand, everybody that was killed by Thanos, not by the Infinity Gauntlet,
Mm-hmm.
is
Is
dead.
dead. Yeah.
But I'm going to argue that point.
Well,
2 of them I know are dead for sure.
Here's where I go back to the whole Loki. I don't think Loki's dead.
You don't
And
think so?
I don't think Loki's dead. I mean, how many times has he been killed off already? And boom, he's come back.
True.
I mean, this very well could be his little game that he's playing. But if he's dead, he's dead. That's fine. You know what? They need to retire that character anyway.
But he died.
But-
If he is dead, he died in a good
yeah,
way,
absolutely.
where he was being honorable. He was trying to protect his brother,
Mhm.
and so I'm cool with that. If he's dead,
I don't think he is, but
you know what?
hey,
It's a
look,
comic book movie.
the
No
last-
one's ever really dead.
The last time we sat here and we speculated all about what we're going to see in Infinity War, we were completely
We were
off.
completely off.
So by
Completely
the
off.
fact I'm sitting here saying I don't think Loki's dead, and he's
You know what, he couldn't be, and-
I'm probably wrong.
And so we're gonna find out next summer.
God, next summer.
Next summer we got to find out, and
I was sad to see Heimdall go so quickly, but I mean it is the way it is.
well, but you know what? Idris Elba wanted out after the second Thor movie, so I'm shocked that he came back for Age of Ultron, and he came back for Thor Ragnarok.
Money talks, man.
Well, yeah, that's true.
And he needs to go play James Bond anyway. So
You know what? I love the idea, but like 10 years ago, he's in his 50s, and he's getting older. Well, he said, and again, you can't really trust anything in Hollywood because with NDAs and stuff like that. But he said emphatically, it's like, no one has approached me. Discussions have never happened with me about being James Bond.
it was a fan theory. But
It totally was, and I totally love the idea, but I love the idea when he was like late 30s, early 40s, like with Daniel Craig.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point, he couldn't have done it because Daniel Craig was doing it.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how James Bond pans out. But yeah, I know Idris Elba wasn't thrilled about playing Heimdall again.
Yeah.
But you're right. They probably could have said, well, here's a blank check. Just write some numbers on there.
Yeah, why not? But I mean, we're not here talking about James Bond. We're here talking about Infinity War. So
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, right off the bat, we got the Hulk going down, and then Thanos going after all the Infinity Stones, and another character when he went to go get the Soul Stone. He sacrificed his favorite.
He had to
daughter.
sacrifice Gamora, and there's some fan
And-
theories about that.
Well, again, you know what? I mean, there's been some theories that she's because there's one scene in the movie where after he kills her, he's interacting with her as a child, and they're saying that he's in the Soul Stone.
Right.
And so now, since she was sacrificed for him to get the Soul Stone, she's now part of the Soul Stone.
Right. Well, and that's the theory about everybody that dies, is that they're part of the Soul Stone.
Well,
And that the Soul Stone kind of screws with you in the sense that, well, and this is another fan theory, that you never truly win. That all the stones together kind of mess with you.
mm-hmm.
And I hope this isn't like a JR, Who Shot JR, where everyone wakes up and it's a dream. Or Patrick Ewing or whatever it was.
I mean, let's be serious. I mean, not everybody who died is going to stay dead. I mean, we're
heck
getting
no.
these people are coming back.
Heck
That's
no.
why it
Yeah.
kills me when I'm sitting here reading some of these. Oh my God, I left the theater crying, and I'm like, come on, seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, they're coming back, people.
Right. Well, because literally the day after I saw Infinity War for the first time, I read an article about James Gunn talking about Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and how he wants Gamora to play a bigger part in the next movie. So it's like,
she's coming
okay,
back.
so she's coming back. you know Peter Quill's coming back.
Right.
You know Mantis is coming back. Drax has to come back because Drax steals the movie
Right.
every time. There's already Spider-Man Homecoming 2
Right.
planned. So it's like, come on.
Yeah.
You
it's-
know, well,
yeah,
and
they're-
Black Panther 2's already been announced. It's
Black
like,
Panther. Yeah. I mean.
yeah.
these-
So no, they're
These people
the
are
rights,
dead.
the wrongs will be righted, and it'll all work out. But you know, so this movie, obviously, you and I both loved it. Amazing. It had tons of weight. Had tons of. I mean, you were on the edge of your seat, and even with us saying, "Oh yeah, everybody's going to come back," every loss still had the weight, and you felt the loss of them going.
Yeah, well, especially when Spider-Man died and Peter Parker died. I mean,
Yeah.
that was kind of tug at your heartstrings kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, when he's apologizing to Tony,
Yeah.
he's like, "I'm sorry, Mr. Stark. I'm sorry.
I
I'm sorry. I
wanna
don't
go.
feel.
I don't want to go.
Yeah, I don't feel too good." And it was just like, "Oh boy, man,
Yeah.
you made it rough." I mean, so
How you
yeah.
gonna explain that to Aunt May?
Well, when you turn time back, you don't have to explain
You don't
anything to
explain
anybody.
anything, right? Yeah. So I mean, when we left, when gosh, we're already jumping to the end of the movie.
We are.
I get another one, Doctor Strange. Doctor.
Right.
Doctor Strange. I mean, come on, he's
But see-
he's going to play a huge part. He's going to play a huge
is.
part in the second part of the movie.
Well, but there's a part in the movie where he's sitting down and he's kind of in this trance, and you see him kind of moving really fast,
yeah,
back and forth, and they wake him out of this trance, and I go, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm analyzing every possibility."
yeah.
I'm
Like,
going to all the
with
different
14
realities.
million different
Right.
scenarios.
Different scenario. Actually, it's a little more than 14 million, but he's like, I went through all these scenarios to see
Where
all
we
of the
come out.
possible outcomes.
Right.
And they go, well, in how many scenarios did we win?
One.
I said, one. And he had made a statement earlier in the movie to Tony Stark about the time stone. He says, if it becomes between you and me, I will let you die, and I will protect this stone.
But he flipped that.
But he did flip it, and I think because what he did by giving him the time stone, giving him the last Infinity Stone that he needed, he set up. That's why he told Tony as he was going away, this is the end game.
Mm-hmm.
This is, where everything needs to happen. And I think everyone that was left alive needs to be left alive for
Right.
specific reasons in order to bring to pass the defeat of Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be really, really interesting to see what Doctor Strange was talking about.
Right.
So, yeah, it was so good. Now, I don't know about you, because I want to step back just a little bit. When I walked out of there, I was pumped. I was excited. I loved this movie, but I was also kind of pissed off. And you and I talked about this a little bit. I was mad because that's what Justice League should have been.
Right. Yeah.
And it wasn't. And we've talked about this before where, we have this group that's trying to downvote all of the Disney movies and Marvel and thinks that there's some conspiracy theory. And it's like, oh my gosh, I am sorry. No.
I walked out of there, and I that was the first thought in my head was, man, DC really missed the boat on this.
They way missed the boat.
They
And,
missed it. Huge.
because you look at Steppenwolf, okay, so they're not necessarily they're Thanos,
Mm-hmm.
but one of the minions of Darkseid.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked like a visual effect.
Right.
Then you see Thanos and all of his minions come down, and they looked like freaking characters.
Mm-hmm.
They were amazing. Never once.
Well, and again, man, and we've touched on this so many different times. It's DC has tried so hard to keep pace with Marvel that they haven't done any of the infrastructure work.
They
And
haven't.
Everything's completely fallen apart. It's like
Exactly.
It
Well, there-
sucks because
It totally sucks.
it could be right there with it.
It totally could, and it
it's
should
not.
be. But they, so it's their fourth movie. So DC's fourth movie in their cinematic universe, and I'm not counting Suicide Squad as part of that because it's kind of a standalone thing. And that was another thing that bummed me out because I'm thinking about Justice League. What happened in Suicide Squad should have impacted
Justice League.
and it didn't. They didn't even mention it.
Right.
And we see the Marvel movies. Everything that happens in those movies, you can kind of see.
It plays into the next one.
Right.
Right.
And you can kind of see unfold a little bit in this movie where it's like, oh, okay, well, if that hadn't happened, then this wouldn't have happened. And so they planned it out beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in DC, nothing had weight. Nothing had weight to it.
Right.
And Steppenwolf, again, not believable. His minions, not believable. I don't know, we kind of don't care about any of them. I thought the way they brought Superman back was stupid.
Yep.
I thought the only one that I gave two craps about, honestly, was Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm. Well,
because her movie was so fantastic.
Right, because we had a story of significance behind it.
Correct.
We had
Right.
that infrastructure behind it.
Right.
And so that led into the next movie. We haven't got Batman, but I mean that's been we've had so many different Batmans.
We should have had in the DC universe at least 3 other movies, and not intro movies necessarily, although that would be great. Introduce Cyborg, introduce Flash, introduce
Aquaman.
Shazam, Aquaman, all of that.
Right.
But there should have been at least 3 other movies in there, a Batman or a Superman or whatever, where we see the impact of what happened in Suicide Squad, that we see the impact of Superman dying, and see slowly Steppenwolf and.
Do you think DC is a victim of their own casting? And what I mean by that is, they were after Christian Bale got done playing Batman,
Right.
they were so hard up to try to find the next Batman, so they ended up getting going after Ben Affleck, who I think has been fantastic as Batman. I have no complaints.
I think as a comic book Batman, he's probably one of the best ones on the screen.
But I think maybe their part of the problem is the only way they could get him is if they said, no, you are going to be in the Justice League movies. You're going to be the Justice League Batman. Because who else out there could they have gotten? And so
True.
So I'm kind of thinking, well, maybe they kind of had to rush things because of the characters these stars that they're bringing into the movie.
It could be, but I think it's more than that. I mean, yeah, I think that could be a small part of it, but I think there's a greater issue.
Oh, well, yeah. Obviously, there's a greater issue.
Right.
But I mean, I'm kind of looking at. I guess in a way I'm kind of giving DC the benefit of the doubt, and I totally don't mean to do that because I'm so disappointed in the DC movies.
I am,
the DC universe.
and I am too. And I mean, I'm a huge. We've talked about this before. Huge Batman fan. Huge Batman fan.
Huge Batman, huge Superman. We grew up
yeah.
with DC.
Oh,
I mean, DC
love
was
them.
the first ones.
Love it. But I think their major problem is that they see Marvel is 10 years into their cinematic universe, and now we finally got their version of the full Justice League.
Right.
And it was phenomenal. They had 10 years to build up to this. So this is our 3rd Avengers movie, technically our 4th if you count Civil War in there. And we've had Ultron, we've had Loki and the Chitauri coming through where we were first introduced to Thanos. So we've had this breakdown and this this build up to Thanos coming. And
we don't have that in DC.
And we don't have that in
I'm
DC.
sitting here thinking, going through my head, I'm like, there's really nothing out there that we're pumped for the next Justice League.
Right.
There's nothing out there that's just dangling in front of you.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Here's what I think it is, and excuse this extremely poor analogy, but I think it's Marvel is an experienced lover, and DC is a virgin losing his virginity for the first time. Where it's overeager, it's
things.
rushed.
Right.
I apologize for the thing, but I think that's more of what it is.
That's pretty close.
Not necessarily, okay, Ben, we know you're older and we really want you to be the Batman in Justice League, and that totally could be part of it. But I think more it's like, come on, look at what these guys are doing. They're so far ahead. We need to catch up to where they're at instead of just going, okay, here's what we're going to do. Yeah, you guys keep doing your thing. We have this is what we're planning on doing, and that's the other problem. They don't have anybody at the helm that's like going, no, this is where we're going to end up, and it's going to take us 6 years to get there, And yeah, it's going to be faster than what Marvel did.
Because you have the people who are at the helm right now saying, no, we need to keep pace with Marvel. We need to
Right.
stay, we need to stay relevant.
Right,
We
and
need
that's
to be up there.
and that's the other issue is, you know, I mean, a big huge
You're hired because we want you to keep us in pace with
Right.
Marvel.
and
Oh, you don't want to do that? Okay, you're fine.
okay, well,
Bring
you're
in the next
gone.
guy.
And okay, well, you're gone. And you know what? The movie needs to be shorter.
It's
and
all about the dollars, man. It's just
It
you
is.
know, whatever. And they don't. I mean, it's not even about the quality movie. It's all about the money, and that's sad. It really is sad.
it is sad, but it's killing their franchises, and I think they see that because we were supposed to get 3 DC movies this year.
Mm-hmm.
No, didn't get it because we were supposed to get like Justice League Part 2 in November. We were supposed to get we're getting Aquaman. We were supposed to get Flashpoint. Actually, we were supposed to get Flashpoint this month,
Yeah.
and that's not happening. We were supposed to get Justice League in November. We're getting Aquaman.
I'm really stoked about Aquaman. I can't
Yeah,
wait for that.
we are getting Shazam next year, but as far as I know, Flash movie's been canceled.
Mm-hmm.
We are getting a Wonder Woman 2 next year, I believe.
Yeah.
So they had all these movies on the slate, and now they're scrambling so bad to try to figure out what the hell they're doing
Mm-hmm.
that it's killing their whole franchise. They're rushing things. They're not thinking things through. You can tell there's no plan
Right.
for, you know, Darkseid coming. There's no plan. Whereas DC from the get-go was like, no, this is what we're going to do. I just watched Iron Man. I'm rewatching all of the movies in order, the Marvel movies. And from the get-go, the very last, you know, the end credit scene
Mhm.
in Iron Man,
Mhm.
where we meet Nick Fury for the first time,
Mhm.
and Nick Fury says, let me tell you about the Avengers Initiative. It's like, holy crap, they're thinking about that. When we see Coulson, and he's talking about S.H.I.E.L.D., no, they're laying groundwork for something in the future.
Right.
And granted, with DC, well, with Disney buying them out, and then the Sony deal coming through, and then them buying 20th Century Fox, there's a couple bumps in the road, but not bad bumps, like really good bumps.
Right.
They were like, oh, well, hold on a second. Let's kind of veer off and change a couple of things. So they've made a couple changes, but overall, they've kept their focus.
Yeah.
And holy cow, I'm so disappointed
Yep.
as a result of this movie.
I am too, man. I am too. But you know what? We got a great movie in Infinity War out, and I was really impressed with Thor in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, in every Avengers movie, there's like the first Avengers, it was the Hulk, and then then Captain America, but I mean, this one Thor really stood out. I mean, he was the one who, they were getting their butts handed to him.
Oh yeah, and then
in
he
that
arrived.
final battle, and then he arrived with that axe and just started laying waste to fools, man.
Yeah.
And so Thor goes to, and I can't remember the name of the planet where he forged the axe.
Yeah.
But Peter Dinklage.
I know. So
I
now he's
totally-
part of two, and I love that. I had seen on
Totally
IMDb.
surprised. I'm like, dude, that's Peter Dinklage.
Yeah.
But he wasn't. He was a giant dwarf.
Right.
He
And
had
I love that.
big old
Well,
melon on him.
and I
man.
was digging the fact it's like, okay, cool. He's part of 2 Marvel franchises now,
Yeah.
and so's Josh Brolin.
Mm-hmm.
He's part of 2 Marvel franchises. But yeah, I
Got
really
Deadpool.
love that.
We got Deadpool coming out.
But I loved the role that Thor took because
Mm-hmm.
Thor, I think for the first time, was a leader.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was officially a leader. It's like, no, this is what we're going to go and do, and this is why we're going to go and
he
do
did
it.
And normally you see
He wouldn't
Captain
do it.
America taking on that role.
Right.
But I mean, it was Thor who was just he got pissed. After they killed basically his entire planet off.
Yeah.
So it was just him and Hulk walking away from that ship. And so he was mad.
Oh, he's
He's
pissed.
like, I want that son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah. And
That's why I don't think he's gonna die. I don't think he's gonna get killed off, man. I think he's gonna be one of the ones that are left standing.
well, you know what? Now looking back on it, I kind of agree with that because there are some Asgardians still alive.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them are dead. And I think as a result of that, he's going to see the need for him. He's like, I got to go and be the king of Asgard
Right.
and actually take care of my people.
Yep.
And I'm kind of hoping, because we didn't see Valkyrie in this one, I'm hoping Valkyrie
We didn't
comes
see
back.
a lot of characters in this.
There's a lot of characters that we don't. And so, so I think he's probably going to leave, and next Infinity War or the next Avengers movie is Chris Evans' last,
Right.
and it's Robert Downey Jr.'s last.
Right.
And I guess they're saying it's the last. Period. It's not like it's the last. Wink.
Right. Yeah. No, they're done.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, we know for sure Chris Evans, Captain America, is going to get killed off.
yeah, and someone's going to take over the mantle.
Unless they
of
figure
Captain
out
America.
another way to write him off, write him out of the story. But I mean, if they're following, they're staying pretty close to the comic books, and if they follow the comic
They are.
books, he's going to get killed off. Tony Stark, I don't know where they go with him.
Here's what I think with Tony Stark. I think his last movie, but not going to die. I think it's going to be like, I'm going to marry Pepper, I'm going to go off and have a family, leaving it open for the future of him possibly coming back and doing a cameo.
Right.
And he'll probably hand the reins over to somebody to be Iron Man. I'm predicting it's going to be Shuri.
Sure. Yeah.
Which I'd be totally okay with. And so that's what I'm predicting for him. I think Doctor Strange is going to become the leader of the Avengers. I think Spider-Man's going to be a more prominent role in the Avengers.
Yep.
I don't think the Guardians of the Galaxy are going to become, although Peter Quill may stay on Earth. I don't know.
Who that's the beauty of these movies, is because there's just so many possibilities. And I can sit here honestly, not like DC, but I can sit here and just throw my hands up in the air and be like, whatever you want to do, Marvel, I'm totally cool with.
Well, yeah.
Because you hit every single thing. It's gonna suck not having Captain America. It's gonna suck not having Iron Man. It's gonna suck not having the Hulk. It's gonna suck not having these characters around.
Right.
But it's like, but
Well,
you know,
no,
they
and
haven't
that's the
said
thing.
that they're going to kill the Hulk off. But I mean, it's
Right,
Mark
and you know
Ruffalo
what?
can't play him forever.
And at this point, I really don't want to try to predict what's going to happen because we were so wrong with what our predictions were for this movie. So I really kind of don't want to. We know everything's going to get righted.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, we know everything's going to get corrected.
Yeah,
These-
we know-
these characters are coming back to life.
We know the ship will be righted, but I kind of don't want to speculate about how it's going to get righted
No, honestly, it's yeah, I hear you.
because I loved going in there and I loved being wrong.
Right. Yeah, me too.
I loved being wrong. I was kind of like, oh, no way. Okay, so we were wrong about that.
I was and going back to what we talked about when Tyler was here was Vision, and we
Yeah.
talked about what I think is Shuri figures out a way to get the stone out of his head. Well, Shuri couldn't get the stone out of his head in
Right.
time, and we're like, well, no, they're going to plant a dummy stone in his head,
Right, and it'll be
but
totally
didn't.
wrong.
They-
Totally wrong.
he's done.
Although she did turn right before they came in and she typed something into the keyboard. And a lot of people are speculating that she backed his database up
Could be.
really quickly. Don't know.
Could
We
be.
could get him back as a Jarvis-like character. I don't know. But I loved being wrong. I have never loved being wrong so much in my life going into this movie because it made the movie that much more amazing to me.
But I mean, there's just and I was surprised at the amount of we had so many superheroes in this movie, but there were so many superheroes that we didn't get in, that we didn't see.
Right.
We didn't see Hawkeye. We didn't get to see
Nope.
Valkyrie. We didn't see Ant-Man. We didn't see the Wasp.
Right.
I mean, there's going to be a lot more coming.
There's going to be a whole lot more coming, and how they play into the next movie.
Well, I think what's going to happen is you're going to see a lot from the next Ant-Man and Wasp movie.
Yeah.
Because that comes out before Part 2.
Exactly.
So I think you're going to see the end of that movie lead into.
I hope so.
Infinity
I
War.
hope that movie is impacted in the end by what we saw.
I think it has to be almost.
It kind of does, and so that'll be interesting to see what happens. They allude to the fact that Hawkeye's out doing something,
Mm-hmm.
that he's on some sort of mission that no one knows about. That I'm kind of hoping that plays a part into
You kind of
it.
heard a little bit of both. You kind of heard of that, and then you kind of heard some of the characters go like, "Well, he has a family. He's
It's true.
He's protecting his family."
Yeah,
And that's I mean, so, but he's gonna be there.
He is.
He's gonna be there in part 2.
He is. There's some. See, I hope I'm wrong about this, and here we are. I'm not going to speculate, but here I'm going to go into speculation.
Right.
It's highly possible that someone from his family was taken,
Yeah.
because obviously half of everybody in the universe, and it totally did it, indiscriminately. So it's highly
You
possible.
mean when Thanos snapped?
Yeah,
his
when
fingers
Thanos snapped his fingers,
and that
it's highly possible that he lost his wife, he lost one of his children,
Mm-hmm.
and now if he was just hiding, protecting his family,
Now
he'd
he
be like,
has
oh no
reason
no
to
no
stay
no
in hiding. Yeah.
no, I'm coming out of hiding and it's on.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you need me to do to reverse this, I'm going to do it.
Right. So that's
So-
that I think you're absolutely onto it. Something right there. That's going to spark a lot of these other heroes into
Oh
action.
yeah. Well, and there's a lot of speculation, a lot of fan theory that that Captain Marvel is the key to righting the wrong. So we get her movie in, I believe, March of next year,
Something like that. Yeah.
and so we get her intro, and we get to see.
And for those of you who didn't see it, if you have to wait till the very end of the
Okay.
credits. It's not in the middle of the credits.
I'm gonna just stop you right there. If you don't know that now, going into a Marvel movie, that you need to wait until the end of the movie,
Fired.
yeah, you stop. Well, don't stop listening to our podcast, but
Yeah.
pay better attention. Okay,
There-
go.
So the end credit scene is Agent Hill and Nick Fury driving down through the streets of New York. In Fury, going, "Have you heard from Stark yet?" Because nobody knows.
Yeah, no one knows what's going on.
No one knows what's going on. Well, Tony Stark's abandoned on Titan,
Yeah,
and there's all kinds of news reports. Tony Stark missing, blah blah blah, and all of a sudden, this car crashes. They get out, and then a helicopter crashes, and then all of a sudden, people just start disintegrating with Agent Hill.
yep,
And one of the last things Nick Fury does before he disintegrates is he sends a message out. He sends an SOS, an alert, to Captain Marvel.
yeah.
And
It was
that's
really
all
cool.
you see on the little pager there is Captain Marvel's symbol. That's all
Yeah.
you see.
Oh, it was super cool.
So I cannot
Super
wait
cool.
for that movie.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Brie Larson.
Oh, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
There's so much good stuff coming.
Yeah.
And see,
That's
again, the excitement,
just thinking
that
that.
we're feeling
Right.
for this next movie. I could give two craps about Aquaman coming out in December. I'll go see it, but seriously, I do not feel excited for any DC movie at this point. I don't.
I hear you. I mean, it's Marvel. Marvel has the trophy, and it's standing up there on that pedestal.
That's
and
right.
you're
Don't
like,
do it, Anakin. I have the high ground.
Right. dangling. Who wants
Oh, so good.
it? Yeah, man. It's
And not a crappy movie in the bunch.
no.
There's some movies that I like less than others, but there's no movie in there that if right now you to say, hey, let's watch this one, I wouldn't be like, you know what? No, I'm good. I'd watch any of them.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
Oh, so freaking good.
For sure. I mean, that's just it's. So I like. What do you think about this part 1 and part 2 stuff? I know the first franchise to do it was Harry Potter. Where it's like we're gonna extend these
kinda.
movies out, and they give it a whole year in between. And I totally get, it's all about the money. It's like, we got to drag this out as long as possible.
Right, and
There's
sometimes
other stories we want to tell.
Well, and I kind of agree with the sense that there is a lot of story there, and we want to be able to tell it right. We don't want to rush it, except for The Hobbit, which could have been. We're not going to get into that. Still enjoy those movies, but it's Anyway, but this one, you know what? I agree totally with splitting it into 2 movies because.
That's why. I mean,
That'll be a fun edit right there. You got to keep that in. Maybe. All right, there we go. Sorry, Dave's angles changed because he dropped his camera on the floor. I don't think the movie would have been what we got had they tried to shove it all into one movie. I think it wouldn't have been as good.
I agree with you, and I don't think they could have. I guess kind of where I'm going with it is why wait a year? And it's not just because I want to see part 2 now. It's give it 6 months.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, why does it have to be a whole year?
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
Well, I mean, yeah, you shot them concurrently. Why couldn't you be editing them concurrently and doing visual effects on them and all of that concurrently? I agree with that.
God, it would have been a great Christmas time movie to come out.
Oh, it would have been an awesome Christmas time movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been great.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been
Part 2
awesome.
coming out on Christmas. Now we got to wait till next summer to go see Avengers.
Didn't I want to say a movie franchise did do that where they were like 6 months apart.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong.
No, there was one. I almost want to say it was Harry Potter.
Oh, it was. It was Harry Potter parts 1 and 2.
They didn't wait a whole year in between.
Yeah, we got one in the fall, and we got one.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. We got the first Harry Potter 7 in like November.
Right.
And then we got the second part in like June or July.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. We did get it in July, and I think they released it on like July 21st. I could be totally wrong.
I'm pretty sure the dates are probably off, but I'm pretty sure it was there.
Because they were trying to do it around like Harry Potter's birthday, the 21st.
Right.
I only know that because my son Tyler was born on July 21st, and every year I have to hear, you know why I love my birthday, Dad? Because I was born the same time as Harry Potter. It's like no one freaking cares.
He cares.
I love you. No, I love you, son, but you don't have to bring it up next year.
Next year comes around.
That's right. But
yeah, no, I hate the fact that we have to wait a year. And it's
yeah. Well, and it's pure torture. But on a positive note, we got Ant-Man and Wasp coming out. We have Deadpool 2 coming out. We have Solo coming out in a couple weeks. We have
Captain Marvel coming out. I mean, there's lots of other movies coming out.
We have a bunch of really good stuff coming out to help fill the time, but I do agree. It would be a better thing to know that, and at Christmas time, we get to see the finale of this.
Mm-hmm.
But to play devil's advocate, I understand why they're doing it, because we need to have the Captain Marvel movie come out before we can have the conclusion, so we know who she is and why she's so important.
Well, I mean, they could have moved that release date up and then move.
True.
I mean, there's so many different ways that
we could have gotten her movie in November, December, and then released the Infinity War in like February.
This summer.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. To me, I hate that they put so much time in between these movies.
But you know what? I think there's kind of a reason for it. I think the releases are deliberate, especially now, because we've seen the whole story up to this point in Infinity War. And I just have this feeling that there's a reason why Ant-Man and Wasp is coming out after.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason why we need to have the Captain Marvel movie before we get the fourth.
Did we get Homecoming 2 before Part 2?
Nope.
It's after Part 2.
After Part 2.
Yeah.
Isn't that next summer? Don't we get Captain Marvel, Infinity War Part 2?
I think you're right. I think it is next summer.
And then Homecoming.
Homecoming will be after.
Right.
Infinity War
Then again, it could be... I don't know. We'll have to look at the release schedule, because a part of me wants to say we're only getting 2 Marvel movies next year.
To the internet.
To the internet.
Let's see what we got here.
Let's go here. All right. Full Marvel release schedule, Den of Geek.
There we go.
So, let's see. That it? Okay, Den of Geek, you're disappointing me.
I was talking about, there's a lot of Netflix stuff on here. So July, Ant-Man and Wasp. October, Venom. December, Spider-Man into the Spider. Oh well, that's the cartoon.
Right.
February, Silver and Black. March, Captain Marvel. May, Avengers 4. July, Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
And then there's after July, Spider-Man 2. There's nothing on slate until May of 2020.
What's May of 2020?
It's untitled. Everything's untitled. Going
Okay.
into after Spider-Man.
Yeah, so we've got. Yep, you're right.
And
So
then-
we've got May 1st, 2020, untitled. July 31st, 2020, untitled. November 2020, untitled.
And there's still a lot of the old. I mean, it says right here. I mean, don't forget, there's finally a Black Widow solo movie in development. So I mean, that's going to be fit in there. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Black Panther 2, Doctor Strange 2, and then Eternals. Yeah.
Well, and now see, here's the other side of it too, where we can look with hope, because this doesn't bother me at all, because they just bought 20th Century Fox. Where are we going to get an X-Men movie? Are we going to get a Fantastic Four movie now?
Right.
That ties in with that. I mean, there's some exciting things that could be announced within the next, next Comic-Con,
Yeah.
which is coming up in July. So Comic-Con's where we get all of our big announcements, and highly possible that Kevin Feige comes out and goes, "Okay, here's what's happening," and they announce their next slate.
Well, you have there's about 10 movies right there that have no. They're
Have
all
no titles.
Every single one
Yep.
of them are untitled. May, July, November, and then May, July, November again, and then February, May, July.
Actually, so there's 9 here that are listed.
And 4 of them already. I mean, between Guardians, Black
Right.
Panther, Doctor Strange, and Black Widow.
Yeah, so there's 4. So there's 6 movies that are yet unannounced, and I mean, the world is open right now, and I am super excited about that.
Yep. More
Oh, it's gonna be killer.
so than DC. That's for
Oh
sure.
yeah,
So I mean, overall, as far as Infinity War goes, I mean, you give it 2 thumbs up, 1 thumb up. You give it 5 stars, 10 stars.
I'd give it 10 stars out of 5.
Yeah.
I mean, I was criticized once by a friend of mine, not you, that I can't really trust your movie reviews because you like everything. And that's not completely true. But Marvel has done such a good job that I knew going into this I was going to like this movie. They would have to do something incredibly stupid. And, the fact that we're talking about Justice League, right, today, where it's like, I can't watch it now. And I hate saying that. So, yeah, I'd give this movie 10 stars. It is, there's flaws in this movie.
Yeah.
But
It's
as
not
a
perfect movie.
I think
it's
it is,
pretty-
though.
It's pretty damn close.
Yeah, it is about the most perfect superhero movie ever. The Russo brothers are absolutely
I
amazing.
think the biggest, and I don't have this complaint. I think one of the worst reviews I saw written about this movie is it was voted down. It was given a bad score by this movie reviewer who said that they fit too much into this movie and it took away from a lot of it, and that's why he voted it down. He goes, "There's too much going on."
And I could see how some people would complain about that. I disagree.
I thought for one, you had to have
Right,
all these characters in this movie, and they couldn't get to everybody.
right.
And the ones they couldn't get to were written out for a reason.
Exactly.
And 2, I thought they did a great job with what they did.
They did a
couldn't have
brilliant
done
job.
Any better?
They did a brilliant job. And of course there's going to be a lot going on because you're fighting on. We really had 3 different stories going on. So we had Captain America and everybody on Earth's story. We had Thor's story with Rocket and Groot.
And we had Iron
And then we
Man.
had Iron Man, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and Drax and Mantis all on there. So, I mean, kind of 4, because then we had Thanos.
They basically had the whole Guardians, except
Yeah.
for Rocket.
And so you had really these 4 stories going on. But I personally found them easy to follow. I didn't have it. Yeah, it wasn't kind of like, okay, hold on, what's going on here?
I didn't have an issue with.
There were a couple times where it was like, no, go back to what's happening with Thanos. I really man, I would have loved to have seen a standalone Thanos movie, but that's only selfishness because I thought his character was so well done. Just so well done.
Yeah. Yeah,
And-
I agree.
and-
I can't. I have no complaints with this movie. I mean, I give it I would give it 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I mean, that's.
Yeah,
I
I mean, go see this movie. Absolutely, go see this movie. Don't wait to go see it. And this is one of those movies you have to see on the big screen. And it's
Yes.
because there's certain things that happen in this movie that are incredibly impactful, and we didn't even spoil everything
No, we didn't.
that happened.
We
And
got to the major points though.
yeah, we did. We did. We screwed that up for you. But yeah, go see it. Even knowing all the stuff that we talked about, go see this movie because oh my gosh, it's just absolutely stunning.
It's incredible. It is
And,
incredible. I
yeah,
mean, we didn't
love
even
this
touch
movie.
about that. We didn't even touch about Wakanda.
We did.
When they finally got to Wakanda, you know, and it's just I loved how Captain America showed up too.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's just
Oh, yeah.
You know, their Vision and the Scarlet Witch are just getting their tails handed to them, and then all of a sudden, boom, there's Captain America.
Oh yeah. Well, I love how Tony was getting ready to call Captain America,
Right.
and then he got taken. Well, he ended up chasing the spaceship, and left his phone down on the ground. And I just
And then
love how
Bruce-
Wong is going back to the Sanctum. I was like, "Hey, are you coming?" He's like, and Bruce Banner's like, "No, I got to make a phone call."
So he's the one that ended up
And
calling.
he ends up calling Cap. And but yeah, his return, freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, the whole, it was so freaking good.
I love how Marvel does their movies, man. It's just so
Yeah.
freaking awesome.
And you know, I loved the interaction between Star-Lord and Thor.
Yeah.
I love Drax because they find Thor out in space, and they bring him on, and he's unconscious, and everybody's talking about how good looking Thor is,
Right.
and it's making Peter Quill mad. He's like, "Well, he's not that good looking," and Drax says, "It's like a pirate and an angel had a baby," and they
That is
called him
not
the
a
Angel
man.
Pirate.
That is not a man. That is a muscle.
That's right. Oh, such a good.
That is so cool.
Oh,
man.
such good interaction.
There was that, and then there's that one point too where Peter Quill they're on Titan, and he's like going off on Thanos. He's like, "Why'd you kill Gamora? Why'd you kill Gamora?" And he brought up Thor, and right before he mentioned his name, he goes, "This not so good looking Thor."
That's right.
It's like you had to get that in there one.
That's
last
right.
time.
He had to get that in there. Yeah, I guess everybody on the set says, yeah, Chris Hemsworth in real life is just, yeah, you will lose your confidence as a man.
I have no doubts.
Yeah.
No
Well,
doubts.
and to make it even worse, I've heard reports that he is just incredibly nice.
Yeah.
That he's just this incredibly nice guy too. On top of it, you're kind of like, I can't even hate you.
Mm-hmm.
That's just not fair. Give me something where I can just dislike you,
Right.
but I can't.
And it's and all these characters, man. They get and the chemistry between these characters, especially. Well, I can't even say every single one of them when I'm watching interviews. It was Chris Hemsworth and Mark Ruffalo did an interview together in Australia with some Australian reporters,
Okay.
and just the way those two fed off each other, it was like a constant laugh
Yeah.
fest throughout this whole interview. It was like a 60-minute just joke between
Yeah.
these guys, but I mean, that's how it is.
That's just it is, and the camaraderie that they have as a cast now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how wonderful!
And in 5
is
years
that?
from now, when this is all over, when this phase is all over with, I mean, these guys are they're gonna miss it. I guarantee.
They are
you
gonna
they're
miss it. They are going to miss it, and but then again, that's the beauty of a comic book movie, where we can totally. All right, Captain America's walking off and he's dead, but no one's truly dead
Right.
in a comic book movie. If they decided, you know what, hey Chris, would you come back and do one more movie?
Mm-hmm.
In, let's say 4 years, 4 or 5 years, $20 says he would be like, hell yeah, I'll come back and do
Oh
it.
sure, because I mean, all he said he's gonna do is direct, so
Yeah,
he might be jonesing to get back in front of a camera.
he just might, and to be Captain America again.
Yeah.
And Sammy Hagar talking about that. He says, there's times when I was a solo artist and I was good being a solo artist, and I got to the point where I was like, you know what, I need to be in a band so I can kind of share the load of everything. And he got into Van Halen, and he was like, no, it's pretty great. And he did Van Halen for a while, and after a while he was like, kind of like to be a solo artist again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Chris Evans is going to be kind of that way, where it's like, yeah, I'm an actor right now, and it's pretty great, but I want to go direct. And so he's going to go direct for a while, and I guarantee at some point he's going to be like, you know what, I need to be acting again. I just want to go do a movie. I don't want to be in charge of everything.
Except the only difference between Chris Evans and Sammy Hagar is when Sammy Hagar left Van Halen, he formed Chickenfoot, another band,
True that.
with Michael Anthony, the bass player from Van Halen.
Right.
So
But he
didn't-
was solo for a while, though.
Well, he always continued his solo
Yeah.
career. And so he has like 2 or 3 different bands going on simultaneously.
Oh, yeah. So so now he's in Chickenfoot with Joe Satriani and Michael Anthony, and I can never remember his name.
Yeah, I
The
can't-
drummer from Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't tell you right now.
Yeah.
I'm just still on that. I'm still on that Infinity War high.
Oh, yeah. Go see this movie. Oh, my gosh. Go see
Yeah,
this
please
movie.
do.
The reason why it's making so much money, folks, is because it is that
It's worth
good.
it. Yeah,
Oh, it's totally that good.
really worth it.
And, yeah. So go see it.
Yep. And I will say with that,
We're out of here.
we're done. So
Another episode down.
Yep. So again, Infinity War, thumbs up. Go see it.
Multi thumbs up. Go
And,
see this movie.
Next time we talk to you, we'll be in Deadpool, and then Solo
Yeah.
after that.
Which is next week.
Yeah.
Is it next week? No, 2 weeks away from Deadpool. And we're 3 weeks away from Solo.
Solo comes out 2 days before I go on vacation.
Nice.
So
So we will talk about that once you get back from vacation. Or
possibly
we
not. We'll talk about that off the air.
Okay,
But anyways,
perfect.
we'll catch you guys next week. Thanks for joining us. As always, I'm not Jeff.
And you are totally Jeff, and I am not Jeff.
I'm not Dave.
You're not Dave, and I'm not Jeff,
You're not
but I
Jeff.
am Dave,
I am Jeff. But
and you are Jeff. All right.